Hey, Lou, come on over.
Tom, what are you doing?
Well, as you can see, it's the fall. It's time to bring in the harvest.
It's getting cold at night. What are we going to eat this time of year?
Well, what do we have when it's nice and cold? Something that sticks to your ribs.
Yeah.
So good soups and stews and chowders and stuff like that.
Nice.
Today we're going to make a nice roasted corn chowder. Not to feel guilty about it, we're going to throw in a nice salad for the women folk.
Sounds good. Well, I'm going to get out of here before
Go
you
on,
run me over.
speaking of getting out of here, I got to get out of here. John, good neighbor John, can you come start me up?
You betcha.
Welcome to Tom's Table. Good neighbor John. All right, welcome to Tom's Table. We're having another exciting episode today. The cold weather makes you desire hearty, warm soups. So we're going to do a salad and a soup today. And I realized that every episode of Tom's Table that we've done has always finished with a dessert. And I was sitting there trying to think, since we've only got like a half-hour window, and how could I fit a dessert into that timetable? So I thought about it and I decided we're going to make some candy. In the Deep South, one of the big hits in the South are called pralines. And there's certainly an unhealthy offering because it's just brown sugar and butter and vanilla and cream. So, but they're very good. So that's going to be our quick dessert, and I think we'll start with those because the process of making candy is you have to get your ingredients to a certain degree. And for this pralines, you have to get your candy mixture liquid to 234 degrees. So we're gonna do that. And our other offerings is a salad. We're gonna do a pan-seared salmon cake over some baby lettuces with a ginger lime vinaigrette. For our soup, we're going to do a hearty, robust, roasted corn chowder, which you could have nothing better on a cold winter's evening. So, soup and a salad, and one very good for you, one but hearty. So that's the way we roll here on Tom's Table. So let's cook. Yeah, let's cook. We'll start with the pralines. I have 3 cups of sugar, brown sugar. And you're going to get that to boiling with 1 cup of milk. We're going to add it to the pan. 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. Add it to the pan. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Okay? We're going to let that work its way to a nice boil. We're going to let that brown sugar melt. We're going to let that get up to a boil. So we're going to just get that mixed a little bit, and then we're just going to let it do its own thing for a while. We don't even have to mess with this now. We're going to let it get to a boil. We're going to cover it, and it will boil for 3 minutes. And as we cover it, it will crystallize, and all the crystal will fall down here, and it will. And at the end, to the finish, we'll add butter, pecans, and some vanilla to finish them. So we'll just let that get to a boil right now.
I'll take it now for a few hours. Finish 25 acres of it, Tom. Ought to be done by Saturday night. Sure, we'll make it, Ed. How's the gas holding out? Enough left for a couple of hours. Hello, John. This is H.W. talking. Want to start combining tomorrow. Can you run the machine for me? All right. See you in the morning.
You in looking for work?
Yeah. You drive a tractor? Tractor, yeah. I need a couple of harvest hands. What do you say? 3.5. 3.5 and board. So I live 8 miles north. When do you start? Start in the morning. All right, let's go.
The ripened wheat must be harvested and stored without delay, and the combine is Mr. White's way of doing it. From early morning till late at night, the harvest goes on. Harvesting wheat is hard work for all, and the farmer's wife does her part by providing sumptuous meals. High noon and time for dinner.
Time for dinner! Time for dinner! Time for dinner!
Prairie winds furnish the power for the pumps, for the water with which the hot harvesters wash away the dust of the field and cool themselves before eating. A hearty meal and a short rest thereafter do much to banish the fatigue of the long harvest day. There are no finicky appetites among a group of harvest hands. The food on the table vanishes like the grain in the fields under the blade of the combine. After dinner, dishwashing for the women folk, and the men are once more back in the dust of the harvest field. The sky promises at least temporary continuance of clear weather. And the combine goes tirelessly on, making the best of each sunny hour. A sudden storm at this time might ruin all the standing crop.
Roasted corn chowder. Let's start out with making that. Half a pound of bacon. Don't you like a soup that starts out with bacon? So let's get a fine dice on this bacon here, and we'll get that rendering all its fat out. And once we render this bacon, we're going to add celery and onion. Not quite all mirepoix. What is mirepoix? Remember, carrot, celery, and onion. So we got almost mirepoix, but just the celery and onion in this soup. And we'll get that rendering out all its fat. Now, the other elements of the chowder. 1 onion. We're going to make this in a small dice, and this is going to go in there in the bacon fat. We're going to render it in the bacon fat. So we have our onion. Okay. Celery. We'll do the same thing, a small dice with the celery. Checking our bacon, letting that render. We want to get that praline mixture up to a boil. All right, so small dice on this celery. All right, almost mirepoix. That is going to go in after we render our bacon. All right, we're rendering our bacon here, getting all the fat out. We've done a few things with bacon here already in our shows, haven't we? We got a fondness for bacon. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, so that's going to take a few minutes. I have a cup and a half of milk over here that I'm heating up as well, and that's going to go in there. It's a hearty cream soup, and I mean there's nothing wrong with that. So we'll let that render a little bit. Back over to our mixture for the pralines. Once this gets up to a boil, we cover it, and then we stick a candy thermometer. I think it was like $5 at one of those stores. The only thing with a candy thermometer is you can get up to a high temperature, and as you can see right here, can you get in on that? Here's where we want to get. 234 degrees is called the softball stage. I used to play a lot of softball actually, but anyway, 234 degrees is the softball stage to where we can form this into candy. We're making candy. So we'll let that go a while. That's got a ways to go yet. All right, our mirepoix minus carrots, celery and onion, 3 bags of corn. I've roasted this at 350 degrees for about 40 minutes. And we're going to take half of this corn and puree it in the food processor. 1 head of garlic roasted. That's going to go in the food processor as well. And we're going to blend that all up with half of this corn. So let's go over to the stove. In our rendered bacon fat, we're going to add our mirepoix. Carrots minus the carrots. Okay? We're going to let that get all soft. It's going to take about 10 minutes or so. All right. We're just going to let that soften up. We're going to take half this corn. We'll go to the food processor and take half of it. Here's our head of garlic, roasted garlic. Man, it just adds such a nice flavor to your soup. All right. We're going to get that all nice and pureed. And that's actually going to work as a nice thickener for the soup as well. And we've got our garlic mixed in there already, our roasted garlic, so we've got some nice flavor already. All right. So we're done with that. We can just basically add this back to our corn mixture. And that's going to go in down the road here. Once we get our vegetables to where we want them to be nice and soft. Okay. All right. Always keeping an eye on these. We got them at kind of a high temperature. We want them to break down pretty quickly. And I'm actually got a 1.5 quarts of milk back here, and that's at a simmer. We're going to add that to our soup as well. Okay? So we'll let that work its magic a little while. This is still working. We'll put this off to the side for later. Chop up a little thyme. Okay, also with that, we're going to have some fresh nutmeg. I always buy whole nutmeg and just use my microplane and just grate it right in there. So, okay, our celery and onions are to the point where we kind of want them. Okay. All right, now we're going to add 1/3 cup of flour to this mixture. Okay? This is going to be our thickener. Right into the vegetables. Okay? See how that's coating them all like that. And we'll let the flour cook off a little bit. And then we're going to hit it with the milk we've got warming here. Okay? We'll let that just cook for a second. We're ready for our addition of the milk. 1.5 quarts of milk. Okay? That's going right in there. Nice. That flour is going to thicken this up very nice. We're going to have a nice chowder. A nice chowder. All right. Now, to this, we're going to add our pureed garlic and our pureed corn, along with our whole corn. How hearty is that? Here's our chopped thyme. We're going to add that. A couple splashes of Worcestershire. Nutmeg, fresh grated. We're flavoring this soup in layers. It's going to have a nice finished flavor. Little nutmeg. Kosher salt. Some fresh cracked black pepper. Okay. We got everything in there. We're just going to let that cook. Here's our praline mixture, the brown sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of heavy cream. It's come to a boil. Cover it. Hit the timer for 3 minutes. 1, 2, 3. 3 minutes. That's going to form crystals, and we want the sides of the pan clear, so all the stuff that boils up is just going to go right back down. So in 3 minutes, we'll go to the next stage of that. Okay, our pralines are at the boil stage. We've not stirred it. We put it here for 3 minutes to get all the crystals off the sides. Now we're going to put our candy thermometer in there. Okay. I'm going to put it on the back burner. We're going to put that on the back burner for now. All right. And that, we're just going to leave it. You leave it till it gets to 234 degrees, and then we'll go to the next step. You'll be surprised how easy it is. Okay, so we're just going to let that boil, simmer. We don't want it boiling hard. We're going to let that simmer till we get to 234 degrees. Our soup, looking good, getting nice and thick. We're going to let that simmer.
Yes, we have no bananas. We have no bananas today.
At the northwestern extreme of North America lies the rich territory of Alaska, westernmost continental possession of the United States. Most important commercially of all Alaska's resources today are the salmon which each year come from the sea and ascend streams to spawn. Once faced with extermination, the salmon are now under strict government supervision, and the legal annual limit of the catch is based on the number of fish which go upstream to the spawning grounds each spring. At the mouths of streams along the coast, individual fishermen follow the salmon with gill net and trap. These men, who perhaps are fur hunters in winter, work hard through the brief fishing season and, most commonly, turn over their catch to busy little tugs and barges sent out by the more than 100 large canneries. Scores of large fish traps set along the coast contribute heavily to the annual catch. Winches haul up the brailing nets, which transfer fish from trap to barge. Each haul nets hundreds of pounds of fighting salmon. The holds are quickly filled. During each short summer season, hundreds of millions of pounds of Alaska salmon are caught. Day and night during the 2 months of the fishing season, the unending stream of fresh-caught salmon is carried up from barge to cannery. Men of half a dozen nationalities work at feverish speed, side by side with wives of local residents. In 2 months' time each summer, thousands of workers in the world's most modern canneries process millions of cases of salmon worth many millions of dollars. Like Alaska's other products, most of the rich salmon harvest goes outside by ship, principally to United States Pacific ports such as Seattle, Washington, for worldwide distribution. Ships carrying salmon to these ports exchange this cargo for industrial products, such as mining machinery. For next to fishing, Alaska's chief resource today lies in her minerals. Alaska's 5 mountain ranges offer alpine scenery with a rich panorama of glaciers famous for variety and beauty. Beckoning the adventurer, Alaska's mountains offer untraveled depths beyond for exploring, for prospecting, or for hunting wild game such as bear and mountain sheep. Within easy reach are crystal lakes and snow-clad mountains, and loftiest of all peaks in North America, the majestic snow-clad sentinel, Mount McKinley.
Three 6-ounce fillets of Norwegian salmon. The last of the Norwegians. I'm Norwegian, so you're going to say, well, how crazy is that to take some nice fillets like that and break them up into salmon cakes? I can agree that that's not the best thinking sometimes. You want a nice fillet, serve it as a nice fillet. But we're going to take this and we're going to break it up. Okay? These are going to be so good. I make these all the time as appetizers, and people just rant and rave about them. All right, so we got our broken up salmon here. Our elements for these salmon cakes: scallions, ginger, eggs, soy sauce, chili garlic paste, mayonnaise. That's it. And you add our broken up salmon. And I'll tell you what, we're going to add the eggs to them, and we're going to dredge them in panko breadcrumbs, and then we're going to brown them, and wow, they're going to top our salad, and you're going to say wow. So, scallions, debearded, like my wife wants me debearded. She says my gray beard makes me look too old. So, small scallions, okay? Ooh, those are flying everywhere, aren't they? Use the greens. All right. Got a knob of ginger. We don't need all of it. We're going to use, we need two tablespoons of it, minced. And and this I'm going to make a ginger lime vinaigrette to go with the salad, so we're going to get a lot of ginger in there. Okay, so let's mince up some ginger. That's going to go in there as well. I don't want any big pieces in there at all, so I'm going to mince the heck out of it. 2 tablespoons. 1, 2. Let's use the rest of it. All right. 1/4 cup of soy sauce. 1 tablespoon chili garlic paste. 1/2 cup of mayonnaise. Some eggs. Three eggs. Let's mix those up a little bit. All right, so we got our scallions, our mayonnaise, soy sauce. Our eggs are coming. 2 tablespoons of ginger. Tablespoon of chili paste. Okay, that's in there. Now our salmon. Look at how nice that is. We're going to put it all in there. Mix it all together. You know what? I'm better off to do this with my hands because that's how we're going to be using it. All right. I'm a little runny, so I'm going to add a little bit of breadcrumbs there. We're going to dredge them in there as well, but just to soak up a little of that moisture. Okay. Nice, man. Really got a nice flavor. All right. Basically, we're done with these. We're going to form them into little patties. I'm going to dredge them in breadcrumbs. We're going to fry them in oil. Okay, we're at 234 degrees on the candy thermometer, which is where we need to be. Now, we add to that mixture, 2 tablespoons of butter, okay? Now we can stir it. Stirring the butter into there. 1.5 cups of pecans and some vanilla is going to finish this dessert. Actually, it's candy. We're making candy. And I'll tell you what, they're really good. So what we do then, after this sets up we got to bring this down to about 110, 120 degrees, 120, 110 degrees is perfect. And that's when we'll add our pecans and we'll add our vanilla. And then we're going to put them on parchment paper here. And they're going to set up in a minute. Okay? So let's see what our temp is at now. We're still up pretty high. So I'm going to take that out right now. We're going to let that just sit for a couple of minutes, all right? Let's go to our Our praline mixture is not quite down to 110 degrees yet, so we're just going to let that sit for a little while, which is a nice thing about making candy like that, because you know what? We do it in little stages and it's not eating up a lot of our time. Panko breadcrumbs, okay? We're going to bread our little salmon cakes in here. So I'm going to take a little scoop, put them in the breadcrumbs, okay? Coat them nice. We're going to go right to the pan with them. Okay? We're going to sear off a bunch of these. Okay, panko breadcrumbs lend a awesome crunch. So we'll put these, just get them covered. We'll press them down in the pan. And we're going to top, these are going to be our topping for our salad. So I think 2 to 3 per salad will be nice. Okay. You know what? These, you can even serve these by themselves. I made a, on top of these salmon cakes, we're going to put a sour cream chive sauce. And I made that just sour cream and cut up chives. And that tops these cakes. Oh my gosh, I serve these as appetizers and they fly off the plate. We're going to get them till they're nice and honey golden brown. About 2 to 3 minutes per side. Then we're going to put them right on a baking sheet and keep them warm. Let those cook for about 2 or 3 minutes per side. See our chowder over here? Look how nice and thick that got. Is that looking good or what? We're going to finish that off with a half a cup of warm, heavy cream. Okay? Like I said, this isn't the healthy part of the meal. This is the cold winter's night soup meal. All right. We're going to let that simmer up a little bit while we flip our cakes here. Getting nice honey brown. See that? Looking nice. Looking nice, right? We can even go a little flatter. We'll give those about 3 to 4 minutes on that side. You know, that salmon was cooked already. The only thing we're really doing is tightening them up and making sure that that egg is cooked through. Okay? So we just want a nice golden crust on it. Look how nice and golden those look. Those are going to top our salad. Okay? Our chowder is basically done. We're working on the salmon cakes. Let's go back and look at our praline mixture. All right, our praline mixture is where we want it to be, 110 degrees. At this point, see how nice and thick that's getting? Teaspoon of vanilla. I like vanilla. And our pecans. Okay? Nice pecans. Stir it all up. Back in there. We can wash this down with a nice Coca-Cola. I think that's what they do in the South, have a praline and a Coke. All right? All right. So now, we need Got parchment paper. We don't want anything to stick. Even though it's parchment paper, we don't want anything to stick to it. We're going to take little teaspoons and spread them out like that. Okay? These are going to set up so nice. And you're making candy. Never thought you'd make candy on here, did you? All right. Make them into nice little patties. I think I've got like 2 to 3 pecans per patty. Something like that. Doesn't have to be exact. Make them how you want them. But they're looking pretty equal here. Okay. Look how nice those look. Tell Fannie Mae I'm available. Okay, we're almost home. We have one final step to do. Like I said, with those salmon cakes, we're going to use them as a topping for a salad. So what we're going to make is a really quick, I'm going to serve these over baby lettuces, okay? The salmon cakes with the sour cream chive sauce is going to be on top of baby lettuces. And right now we're going to make a ginger lime vinaigrette that will dress that salad and accent everything very nicely. So again, with the ginger, okay? Ginger is so cheap and so good. Again, we're gonna slice up some ginger. And actually, I think I might grate it this time for our dressing. Okay, so I'm going to take, where's my, you got a bowl, got some ginger, okay? Let's grate it in there. A couple of good sized knobs there. Ginger's really got a wake me up flavor, I think. Limes, I got 2, 4, 6, 7 limes, okay? And I know you're noticing my lime squeezer right there. Funny story about that. I go to, I like to go to cooking stores like Williams-Sonoma or where they have cooking tools. Oh man, what is going on there? All right, I had one of these in my hand. It was 20, 25 bucks. Very frugal shopper. I put it back. I'm a mailman. Told you I'm a mailman. Well, one of my customers comes out before Christmas and hands me a package from Crate and Barrel. It was this, and no mention of it. Call it a coincidence, if you will. But I just find that totally amazing that one of my customers could buy me something that I had in my hand 2 weeks earlier. So this was meant to be in my hands. So, all right. I see Rick Bayless use these all the time in his cooking show. So yeah, lime juice. Let's use them up. This thing works so nice. Put them right in there. I don't even know if we'll need all of these, but it's fun to use this thing. And even with the lemons that you put in here, it grabs all the seeds too, so you never have to worry about dropping any seeds in there. How nice is that, huh? See, I just, something told me not to buy it. I've got a lemon squeezer and a lime squeezer, but I just kind of really wanted it. And then for it to turn up 2 weeks later, come on, really? All right. We might as well use them all. This vinaigrette can last us for a while. You can always make extra dressing and use it down the road. I do that quite often. So we're just about done with our meal here. Kind of a complex evening you spent with us, but here again, sticking true to tradition of Tom's Table, we haven't spent a lot of money. The soup we got out with pretty cheap. Probably the bacon was the most expensive thing on there. Salmon cakes, the salmon fillets. Yeah, I mean, we're still cooking pretty frugally here. All right, lime juice and ginger, okay? You take some vegetable oil and make an emulsion. Slowly adding a little oil till it emulsifies. We got a nice fresh dressing. Pretty light and fresh for our salad. Okay? Let's taste that. Salt and pepper, of course. Fresh cracked, always. And some salt. Nice. Get the ginger, you get the lime, it's very refreshing. So, our dressing's made. We're gonna get our baby lettuces together and we'll assemble one of these in just a moment, okay? Baby lettuces, okay? Nice bowl of them. We're gonna add some of our ginger lime vinaigrette, okay? Not a lot. Got that rest of that for later. Just want to dress it lightly. Okay? Make sure all your leaves get a little touch of it. It's very potent dressing. Okay? We're going to take that, put it on our platter. Okay? Kind of elegant there. Just a dress. Segmented oranges. I had some oranges in the fridge. Okay? Add them to your salad. Why not? Okay? Let's put those everywhere. Take our salmon cakes. Okay? This is our sour cream chive sauce. Sour cream and chives, a little salt and pepper. That's it. On top of the salmon cakes. Okay. How about that? Looks good, right? Bring in the new year with that. You could eat a ton of that and not gain an ounce. Let's not talk about the soup or the dessert. Let's just talk about this right now. So I think it's time for Tom's Table. So we'll see you in there, all right? Thanks for being with us. So we've had a day of cooking. We're embracing the harvest. We're bringing in the fall time of year. Makes you just crave something like a nice hot bowl of soup. So we did that with our nice roasted corn chowder. And with us today are Lou and I, our daughters, Megan and Melody, and they've known each other since
We met about in kindergarten, and we've gone to school together ever since. We had ballet classes together when we were little.
We stuck together all the way through high school, played badminton, were badminton partners for a while, and had our locker buddies together, spent most of the days hanging out after school. So.
Yeah, and now we're all grown up. We're 24. I'm living in Arizona with my husband and working commercial real estate.
And I still live in the Chicago area, and I'm working for an engineering company doing reliability engineering.
So we're really happy to be here.
So let's try our soups and see if it's up to par. You make this a lot.
I do. Even though I'm in Arizona and it's hot all year round, this is one of my husband's favorite meals. So I make it almost every other weekend. We have a big batch and it lasts for a couple days. Mm-hmm. So it's a favorite in our house.
And also, now living in Arizona, there is no fall for you. There is no end of crop.
That's true. It just started getting into the fall season, and it's still about 85 degrees. We have fresh food year-round, so it's really exciting to get to try the different things there. Cactus at the grocery stores, which is something I've never experienced.
Wow.
So.
Did you buy any?
I haven't yet.
Okay.
I need to find a good recipe.
We'll do a Tom's Table Cactus recipe episode. And you just had an interesting trip, yes?
Yeah, I just got back from Peru about 4 or 5 days ago. So
Oh, man.
spent the first days of spring there. And then
Oh,
came
it's
back
totally
over.
changes seasons there, huh?
It was the first day of spring when we arrived.
Wow.
There, so.
Wow.
What was the weather like?
Not too different than here. It was like 60s and 70s, but it was very confusing. They kept talking about planting the crops and trying to remember that it's not.
You're an
full
opposite
there.
world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Very interesting.
And you were talking about the interesting meal. You had beef heart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's called anticucho.
Yeah.
I think I'm pronouncing it right. But
Okay.
They serve it on little skewers.
All right. And you liked it.
It was pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, we were talking about that too because a friend of ours was there and she was big on guinea pig, is big in Peru. So unfortunately, we don't have guinea pig tonight on our menu. So you'll have to deal with the corn chowder and a nice salad. So what do we think of the soup?
Very good.
It's delicious. It's very warm, very hearty. Perfect for a cold night.
Right.
It's surprisingly sweet. I wasn't really
Yeah,
expecting that.
right? Well, that's because I roasted the corn, and when you roast something like that, it just intensifies everything. So, yeah.
When I make it, we like to eat a couple pieces of corn off the tray that's been freshly roasted before I get them in the soup because it's good just like that.
Right.
Yeah, the fresh parsley on top is a really nice fresh.
That was still out of my harvest. That's still alive.
Yeah, you grow parsley, right?
Yes, I do. I would have tomatoes, but my squirrels ate them all. I swear I lost about 60% of my tomatoes to squirrels.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're on to our second course. And we've got the nice fresh salad with mushrooms and mandarin oranges, green onions. And on top of those, we have our salmon cakes with a little sour cream and the chive. Actually, you make those too, don't you?
I do. I always get fresh salmon straight from the butcher and make it up, and it's a nice fresh dish, not too hard to make.
Right, and very good. So, you want honors?
I would love to.
All right.
It looks delicious.
And going with the fall time of the year, what does it remind you of? It reminds you of Halloween and stuff like that. How many times did we go trick-or-treating?
Every year, I'm sure.
Right?
Every
And
year.
we'd
Can't
stay
miss
out for the
Halloween.
duration. Melanie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trick-or-treating was always fun around here. People gave out great candies.
Yep. And there was no, I don't know, I hate to be an old coot, but you never had to worry back in the day, you know. You could leave your door open and you could go trick-or-treating till 10 at night if you wanted. But things have changed a little bit, no. You've got to be a little bit more cautious, and I don't like that. You know? I don't like that.
But we did always have our parents with us. It was never like we went out on our own. It was a thing that you always enjoyed almost as much as I did.
That is true.
Split my candy stash with me.
I helped you sort it.
Right.
I didn't.
And you pick out all the least favorites. And
Right.
And then in the morning, they would all be gone.
All right, so I want you to try the salmon cakes with the dressing and tell me what you think. I think it's a nice combo.
It is. It's delicious. It's really hearty. It's crispy on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
very filling. It's not too fishy, which I like.
Right. Right.
It's a lot more subtle than like crab cakes usually you make, so it goes really nicely with the salad.
Mm-hmm.
Are these a lot of fresh fall ingredients that you can find?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, actually, not so much. I mean, this stuff you could find year-round. There's nothing really on this plate that you couldn't find year-round, you know.
Sure.
But basically, what do we lose in our fresh vegetables and our tomatoes are the most things, you know.
Mm-hmm. But it still tastes very fresh, even though it's not necessarily seasonal, and it goes really well with the soup.
Mm-hmm. So we talk about the fall of the year, and kind of the best time to be out, I think. I mean, there's many events. We got the Scarecrow Fest in St. Charles. And we used to go to that a lot.
We've been going as recently as a couple years ago, and it's pretty crowded, but it's still very fun seeing all the scarecrows and all the pumpkins decorated.
Still do pumpkins?
Oh, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Did a pumpkin run recently.
Really?
So yeah, I went out to Keller's Farm Stand and
Ah.
did a run through there. And,
Are they expensive this year?
I don't know. So we got a free pumpkin at the end of our run. So
Even better.
So it's a great, most of the reason that we did the run in the first place.
Oh,
to get our
very
pumpkin,
cool.
so.
Very cool. Because sometimes you have a bad crop. Pumpkins are ridiculously priced, and sometimes, you know, you can get a zillion of them. Yeah.
I haven't seen any pumpkins yet out in Arizona, so it's
Oh.
nice to be back in Illinois and see the change of the leaves and feel the fall weather, since I don't get much of that anymore.
Do you like that in a good way or a bad way?
It's in a good way for now.
Yeah.
Since I'm still new out there, it's nice to not have the snow to worry about and
Right.
be able to be outside year round.
Right. You think you'll end up staying there?
We'll see.
Dad always wants to know, right? And you? What are your plans for the future? We're not supposed to talk about that? You just don't know
Taking
yet,
a
right?
little year at a time.
1 year at a time. Yeah. See where work takes you. Is there a potential for work taking you anywhere? I mean, you're good here, but that's where they're based.
My company's all over,
All
so
over.
I could stay here if something drew me somewhere else. There's
That option
opportunities
too.
all across the country. Yeah.
Your dad just frowned.
Sorry, wrong answer. I will be staying here.
Good answer.
That's what my parents like to hear too. But we're still young, we've got time to figure it out.
And who knows? Don't old people retire in Arizona? Isn't that the place where we go?
It's true.
So you like the salad?
I love the salad. It's very fresh. I like all the ingredients. What's the dressing we have?
It's like a lime vinaigrette.
It's delicious.
Is the dressing where all the spice is coming from?
Yes. Yes. And some in the salmon cakes. There's quite a bit chili garlic sauce in the salmon cakes too. So yeah, that's actually I'm out of salmon cake.
Which I think the sour cream balances that out nicely.
Right? Right? Well, that's what you do in cooking. You look to get a little, you want the heat and you want the sweet and you want the brightness. You want something to pop. You know, and that's our goal here. And I think we accomplish that most of the time.
It does, it pops.
Except maybe the next time when we have the Peruvian, what is it? Guinea pig?
We'll find a way to make that one pop too.
Sight alone, it's just
Oh, and they serve it on a skewer. Oh,
it's, you
man.
see the whole guinea pig.
Oh, man. And that's a delicacy. That's considered a delicacy. But it's
They
on the
say
menu.
So, I don't know. I don't know how much is for tourists.
Did you see anybody eating one?
We saw them at a lot of places. Never saw anyone actually eating it.
Yeah.
Well, I listened to a podcast and their motto is "Don't yuck someone's yum." So if some people like it, let them like it.
Well, that's a good one. Don't yuck somebody's yum. So, as with tradition on Tom's Table, we always like to finish with a little something sweet. I don't know, maybe that's the Norwegian in me, but we've gone to pralines. Kind of a technical thing to make, right? I mean, taking that praline batter to 234 degrees, and chemically stuff happens when it's at that. And then you end up with a nice little praline like that. And you saw us make them. It was Dude, it's brown sugar and cream and pecans. And there you go, and a little butter. So here we go. Shall we praline? Let's praline.
This is something I haven't made before. Seems like it might be a little difficult, but worth it.
Yeah, it just melts right in your mouth.
Right? Very big in the South. But they don't keep very well. The traditional way to keep a praline is to wrap it in a single serving in aluminum foil. So if these don't get eaten, we're going to have to wrap all these with foil.
I don't see how they wouldn't get eaten, though. They're really good.
I think we can force ourselves to get them.
Yes, they're very sweet. They're very crumbly, but still soft.
Yeah. And they almost look like cookies. If I got up in the middle of the night for my 2 o'clock cookie and milk thing,
Sure.
I might mistake those for cookies.
Yeah, and you would not be disappointed.
I would not be disappointed.
So even though we had just a soup and a salad, that was very filling.
Yeah.
So we don't need a ton of these to
Right.
fill out the dinner, but it's a great way to end it.
Yeah. So, girls, you guys are awesome for coming on Tom's Table.
We're happy to be here.
I'm shaking the table.
Been waiting for this day.
You know, Tom's Table has always been a dream of ours, and to have our daughters as part of it is very special to us. So
We were part of the making of Tom's Table. I think the time that they first connected in ideas for this was on the stands of one of our badminton games.
that is right.
Is when they came up with the idea for it. So, thanks to us, Tom's Table exists.
And you know, with Lou coming from a background in the restaurant industry and myself, it was meant to be. So thank you, girls. All right, thanks for watching Tom's Table. We hope you enjoyed. We hope you keep watching, and we'll see you next time. So thanks. Good night.